Mataji's birthday. So, birthday, Maharaj could wish her. So,
whose birth?
For a reason, Krishna did that.
Who's Vanita?
Yeah.
Oh, the one who hosted it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she was over the moon. Yeah, so. Okay, yeah, so.
So she got special mercy. So maybe it was a reason, because of a reason.
Let's put it this way, nothing happens by accident. There's higher forces that make things happen or don't happen. It's called Krishna. Okay, this is a beautiful, beautiful bhajan. So we can all, absorb ourselves in the names of Krishna, because to chant the name of Krishna is the essence of the process of bhakti. And to chant Krishna's name and his pastimes in Vrindavan is the heart of devotion. Yasomati Nandana Braja Bharanagadha Gokula Ranjana Yasomati Nandana Brajabaranagara Gokhuranjana Gopi Paranandanam Bhadhanam Manoharam Gopi Paranandanam Bhadhanam Manoharam Kaliya Ramana Vidhana Kaliya Ramana Vidhana Hey, Amala Harinam Amiya Vilhasan Amala Harinam Amiya Vilhasan Vipena Purandhara Navinanagara Vara Vamsi Vadana Vahasan Navinanagara Vara Vamsi Vadana Hey, Vrajadana Fana Surakulan Hasanan Vrajadana Fana Surakulan Hasanan and Handa Gurana Rakuhan Hey Handa Gurana Rakuhan Hey Govinda Madhava Navanita Thankara Govinda Madhava Navanita Thankara Sundharananda Gopala Hey, Sundharananda Gopala Jamuna Tattachara Gopi Vasanara Jamuna tapta chara gopi prasanno haram Rasa rasika kripa moya Rasa rasika kripa moya Oh, Sri Radha Vrindavana Natavara Sri Radha Vrindavana Natavara Bhakti Vinora Swaya Shila Bhakti Vinora Swaya Hey Hasomati Nandana Vrajavaranagara Gokula Ranjana Gokula Ranjana Hamala Harinam Namiyavi Lasa Hamala Harinam Namiyavi Lasa Hey Govinda Madhava Navanita Akara Hey Krishna Govinda Madhava Navanita Akara Sri Radha Vrindavana Natavara Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Sri Radha Vrindavana Natavara Sri Radha Vrindavana Natavara Hari Bhom Hari Bhom Hari Bhom Nittai Gaur Hari Bhom Jose Nittai Gaur Hari Bhom Hari Bhom Hari Bhom Hari Bhom Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe Jai Kishore Kishori Kishore Kishori Kishore Kishori Kishore Kishori Nittai Gaur Hari Bhom Hari Bhom Hari Bhom Gaur Hari Bhom Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Yasumati Nandana Braja Varanagara Gokula Ranjana. I'm not coming. His mother calls him, no, I don't want to eat, I want to play. Krishna likes to play. How many of you like to play? Everybody, the rest are shy to admit it, but that's all you do in spiritual life is just play. No work. Ah. Okay, so how many of you want to live forever? Only one. The rest of you are you want to go on vacation instead? Okay. So this verse seriously teaches you how you can live eternally. There is eternal life that is available, but the formula is given in this particular verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 3rd chapter. So we'll read the verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this is from Canto 2, Chapter 3. The chapter is entitled Pure Devotional Service. And this is verse 17, if you want to follow along. But it'd be nice to do this Sanskrit. What do you think? Put some spiritual energy into the atmosphere. I'll do line by line, see if you can follow. I'll go slow. Ayur harati vaipumsam Udyan astam chayan aso Tasyarte tadshino nita Uttama sloka vartaya Ayur harati vaipumsam Yudyan astam chayan aso Tasyarte yachino nita Uttama sloka vartaya. Someone want to chant?
Ayur harati vaipumsam
Ayurharati vaipumsam
Udyanastam chayan ashu Tasya te yakshano nitya Uttama sloka vartaya.
Anyone else?
Ayur harati vaipumsam
Ayurharati vaipumsam
Yan ashtam chayan aso
Uta astam yayan aso
Asyate yatchanonita
Tasyarte yachano nita
Tamasloka vartaya
Uta soka vartaya.
Ayur harati वैपुंसाम्
Ayuharati Vaipumsaham
उद्यानस्थं चयनसौ तस्यर्थे यक्षणो नीता उत्तमश्लोका वार्तया
Very good. Anyone else?
आयुर्हरति वैपुंसाम् उद्यानस्थं चयं स असौ नश्यते यक्षणो नीता उत्तमा श्लोका वर्तया
Anyone else? Ayu. Duration of life. Harati. Decreases. Vai. Certainly. Pumsam. Of the people. Yudyan. Rising. Astam. Setting. Cha. Also. Yan. Moving. Aso. The sun. Tasya. Of one who glorifies the Lord. Rite. Except. Yat. By whom? Shana. Time. Nitta. Utilized. Uttama Sloka. The all-good personality of Godhead. Vartaya. In the topics of. Listen to this translation. It's quite interesting. Both by rising and setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. Let's repeat. Both by rising and the setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. Purport. This verse indirectly confirms the greater importance of utilizing the human form of life to realize our lost relationship with the Supreme Lamb by acceleration of devotional service. Time and tide wait for no man. So the time indicated by the sunrise and the sunset will be uselessly wasted if such time is not properly utilized for realizing identification of spiritual values. Even a fraction of the duration of life wasted cannot be compensated by any amount of gold. Human life is simply awarded to a living entity so that he can realize his spiritual identity and his permanent source of happiness. A living being, especially the human being, is seeking happiness because happiness is the natural situation of the living entity. But he is vainly seeking happiness in the material atmosphere. A living being is constitutionally a spiritual spark of the whole complete whole. And his happiness can be perfectly perceived in his spiritual activities. The Lord is the complete spirit whole, and his name, form, qualities, pastimes, entourage, and personality are all identical with him. Once a person comes in contact with any one of the above-mentioned energies of the Lord, through the proper channel of devotional service, the door to perfection is immediately opened. In the Bhagavad Gita 240, the Lord has explained that such is contact in the following words. Endeavors in devotional service are never baffled, nor is there ever a failure. A slight beginning of such activities is sufficient even to deliver a person from the great ocean of material fears. Listen to that. A slight beginning in devotional activities is sufficient even to deliver a person from the great ocean of material fears. As a highly potent drug injected intravenously acts as once on the whole body. The transcendental topics of the Lord injected through the ear of the pure devotee of the Lord can act very efficiently. Oral realization of the transcendental message implies total realization, just as fructification of one part of the tree implies fructification of the other parts. This realization for a moment in the association of pure devotees like Sukadeva Goswami prepares one's complete life for eternality. And thus the sun fails to rob the pure devotee of his duration of life, inasmuch as he is constantly busy in devotional service of the Lord, purifying his existence. Death is a symptom of the material infection of the eternal living being. So listen to that. Death is a symptom of material infection of the eternal living being. Only due to material infection is the eternal living entity subjected to the laws of birth, death, old age, and disease. The materialist way of pious activities like charity is recommended in the Smriti Shastras as quoted by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Here's, and if any of you are interested in making some money, here's the next part. Okay, ready? Here we go. All of you Gujaratis here? Sorry about that. Maybe there's a few Marwadis also. Okay, money given in charity to a suitable person is guaranteed bank balance in the next life. Such charity is recommended to be given to a Brahmana. If the money is given in charity to a non-Brahmana without Brahminical qualifications, the money is returned in the next life in the same proportion. If it is given in charity to a half-educated Brahmin, even then the money is returned double. If the money is given in charity to a learned and fully qualified Brahmana, the money is returned 100 and 1,000 times. And if the money is given to a Veda Paraga, one who has factually realized the path of the Vedas, it is returned by unlimited multiplications. Good investment, huh? The ultimate end of Vedic knowledge is realization of the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedaischa savaya aham eva vedyam. There is a guarantee of money being returned and given in charity, regardless of the proportion. Similarly, a moment passed in the association of a pure devotee by hearing and chanting the transcendental message of the Lord is a perfect guarantee for eternal life, for returning home back to Godhead. Madharmat gatvam purnam janmana vidyate. In other words, a devotee of the Lord is guaranteed eternal life. A devotee's old age or disease in the present life is but an impetus to such guaranteed eternal life. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gena Jana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya De Satarine Panchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Pevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So without knowing it, every second that we exist in this world is decreasing the time of how long we'll be in this world. Time is imperceptible. It moves along without anyone's awareness, but time takes away. Just like it says, well, we ask someone, how old are you? Well, I'm 40 years old. That means 40 years of your life is gone. And whatever is left, that is the accumulation that is given to you according to your destiny at the time of birth. Everyone has so many breaths that they are allowed to take in this life, and one cannot increase or decrease it simply by arranging the material energy different ways. But one can supersede it, or we say transcend it, simply by engaging in the devotional service to the Lord. Why? Because devotional service to the Lord is not part of this world. Although the activities may look like the activities of the persons who live in this world, in other words, the materialists, even though, say, we cook, they cook, we live in a house, they have a house. But the mood and the purpose and the motivation behind the activities is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or to raise our consciousness above the three modes of material nature. In other words, to actually find satisfaction in the spiritual realm. Therefore, one who engages in devotional service, they transcend the effects of time. Time is Krishna. Krishna says, time I am actually destroyer of everything. And here, the indication is the rising and the setting of the sun. We see every day. We happily welcome the sun as it comes every day. And then, of course, it traverses the sky, and then it leaves at a certain point. That is called sunset. And another day is gone. And so this goes day after day. And so what is happening? The duration of life is becoming less. Srila Prabhupada would make an example, or an experiment, actually. He would be giving a class, and he would be talking about the importance of utilizing every moment. And so he would stop, and he would say, now it is December 14th, 1974, 7:25 in the morning. And then he'd stop for 1 minute, and he'd say, now it is December 14th, 1974, 7:26 in the morning. Where is 7:25 a.m. December 14th? It is gone. You can't buy it back for billions of rupees, dollars, or whatever currency you may use, because time moves in one direction. So money is valuable, time is precious. Time is precious because we have so much time in this particular body that is given to us by the arrangements of material energy and sanctioned by the Lord himself. But these things are also changeable by the activities of devotional service. Just like we take birth and we go through different phases in our life. We're born, we grow, we have an education, and after some time we get situated in some kind of occupation, develop family life, and then we go on with the activities. Usually we start moving towards an elderly time of life, and things start to deteriorate. And life changes. We're the same person, but what we go through is different. These are the force of time. Time moves everything along. And time doesn't give you any notice. It moves in one direction. But one who is aware, well, how best long? And time doesn't give you any notice. It moves. Who is aware, well, how best to use my time? That if we want to live beyond the element or the effects of time, there is a way to do that. And that is to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Satam prasangam Ritkarna Rasayana Kata. This is verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 25th chapter, 25th verse, which says that one who hears and chants the glories of the Lord in the association of devotees, what is the effect? The ear becomes full of nectar, the heart becomes awakened to a joyful experience, and one feels happy. And happy in the sense that now bhakti is starting to manifest in a very real way. So out of all of the activities that make up bhakti yoga, but bhakti yoga activities are all what we say equally, beneficial. Not one activity is more beneficial than another. But then there is varieties within the absolute principle. And what is that variety? The essence of spiritual activities is to hear about, to speak about, to remember, and to glorify, of course, speaking another. But then there is varieties. Even at the very beginning, doctors give some kind of ideas that it happened. I mean, life starts at 7 months. No, if it's growing, it starts from where it starts to grow, because nothing it can grow unless it's alive. So life starts from conception. And so, therefore, this body is given life by the presence of the soul. And when the soul leaves the body, we call that death, and that is the end of the body. But the body is never alive, because it's the presence of the soul that gives life to the body, and the body is just matter. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhumir apanalo bayu, kambana buddhiye vacha, ahankar itiame, bina prakriti astadva. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, the physical body, mind, intelligence, false ego, the sense of identity on the material level, it makes up the subtle body. But beyond that, there is the life that gives animation to all of these material ingredients, and that is the soul. So we come into the body, we live in the body for so long, and then we leave the body. So we don't die. We just go in and out. Just like we come into this house, we'll be here for a little while, and then we'll leave. Except for Nina, she'll stay here. Because she has to maintain the house. It's her body. So the point is that the soul is moving in different bodies. Maya Vase, Kacho Bese, Kacho Ho Bubu Budai, Jeev Krishna Dase, Vishwas Kolina Adukanai. And this is a statement by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, that we're going life after life after life in different bodies, different species of life. Karanang Guna Sangosho, Sadasa Joni Jammasu, higher planets, sometimes a demigod, demigoddess, middle planets, sometimes as an IT executive, and the lower planets, sometimes as some kind of, what we say, lowest class being, such as ghosts or spirits or even animals. So we've been traversing bodies after life. And it says the soul is nitya bada. Nitya means eternal, bada means conditioned. But how can the soul be nitya bada when the soul is eternal? But what does it mean? That means we have been traversing so many bodies, life after life after life, that we cannot even begin to trace out our existence in this material world. But now, what is the good fortune? We got a human form of life. That is awarded by material nature for those who qualify to make the next step, which is the step beyond human life, back to the spiritual world. Because only in human life, human form of life, can one make a solution to all the problems in the world. What is that problem? Birth, death, disease, old age. Nobody wants these things. These are miseries of the body, miseries of the mind, miseries of higher powers, miseries of other living entities. These come, and nobody wants them, but they come automatically. But we are not ultimately affected. Where is the effect? The body's getting affected. But we think we are this body, and therefore we get affected. But we can also transcend the what we say, the suffering of the material world, and even the happiness that comes by way of material life, by coming to the spiritual platform. And here's the formula. What is that formula? Kirtana, no, what is it? There's, what is that verse from the Bhagavad Gita? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, no, he talks about glorification of himself. Yeah.
Satanam kirtayanto mam.
Santatam kirtayanto mam. Satatam means always, to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead is nothing artificial. When you glorify someone in this world, they may have some laudable qualities, outstanding achievements, maybe qualities that people like to emulate for power, for position, for some kind of glorification. But they're not perfect. There's always some flaw. There's always something there. But Krishna's perfect. All of his qualities are perfect, and everything about his qualities are attractive. His names, his forms, his activities, his pure devotees, which are also part of his spiritual entourage. All of these things are by nature attractive. But why don't we have an attraction for glorifying the Lord? What is that? Why that attraction doesn't manifest? Why? Because we don't do it. It's easy. Krishna consciousness works in such a way is that if you glorify the Lord and hear regularly his activities, you develop a taste for that. It becomes what we say ruchi. There is a sweetness. There is an attraction that comes. We are by nature attracted to Krishna. Our nature is attracted. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sarukambonoi Shravanadi Siddhi Chitte Koriye Udoy. Bengali, Hare Krishna. At least we know we got one Bengali here. Any other Bengalis? Okay, Jai. Well, these verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita really illustrate that the nature of the soul is pure devotion to Krishna. What is our real identity? Are we the name, the form, the body, and the activities we perform in this world? No. These things are given to us, and they're also temporary. We go through this stage, and then if we have to come back, we come back at a different body, and maybe in a different place, and maybe in a different universe. So, Maya Vase, Kacho Bese, life after life after life, we're traversing. But we are the same, and our identity is the same. We cannot leave Krishna. Haribo. You can't get away from Krishna. It's not possible. All you can do is forget about him. That's all you can do. And that forgetfulness makes us think that we are separate from Krishna or Krishna is separate from us. But neither of these terminologies which apply to our eternal relationship are actual facts. We cannot leave God for a second because we are his part and parcel. We are connected with him eternally. Even if we forget about him, the connection is not lost. The only thing is lost is the awareness of the connection. Because of that lack of understanding, then we think we're separate, or we think there are more important activities that will give us satisfaction and happiness than our relationship with Krishna. Because Krishna is the sum total of all existence. Everything is there. He says that Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karna Karnam. That last line, Sarva Karna Karnam. Every cause that you see in this world has a remote cause, which that remote cause is the will of the Supreme Personality of God. Although it's not what we say evident to our awareness, behind all of the activities, there's the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So sometimes you want to say, if you want to blame something for somebody, just blame Krishna. It's his fault. Because he is Sarva Karna Karna. Of course, we don't do that because we don't want that kind of relationship. We excuse him for whatever he puts us into. But we accept it as his mercy because we know there's some reason for it, and that helps us to become more aware of his presence in our life. But that is the roundabout way to go to the nose, like this, but the direct way is to hear and chant his glories. So, therefore, the Shastras really emphasize this is the essence of all spiritual attainment, to hear about and to glorify the Lord, and to make that a program of regularity in our life. And when that program of regularity starts to manifest, it does one thing, it only increases. And then we are what is called Krishna addicted. We can't stop thinking of Krishna. Someone said to Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master and the founder of the ISKCON movement, are you always thinking of Krishna? Prabhupada said, there's never a time that I even forgot Krishna. I can't even remember a time I forgot him. So that's the nature of a great soul. They always remember the Lord. And they remember the Lord with love, with devotion, with attachment, and with supreme attraction. So Krishna's pastimes, which are numerous, are ways that the Lord manifests his mercy in this world for us to get attracted to him. And he comes in different forms of himself because he gives us a chance to get attracted to him in a varieties of ways. Some people like the activities of Krishna as a little baby. When he's Makan Cho, when he's stealing butter and he's running away from his mother and his mother's chasing after him, and he goes to the houses of the ladies and steals their butter, and then they complain to Mother Yasoda and he says, no, it wasn't me. But he's lying. But that's okay because he's God. He can lie. But his lying causes happiness to everyone. If we do it, then we get punished. But that's Krishna. He gives happiness to others by creating some kind of difficulty in people's life, which brings their attention upon him, and then they get spiritual benefit because they're focusing on him. So simply by thinking of Krishna, automatically there is spiritual benefits. Even if you think of, Prabhupada used to say, the wino, he's laying on the street and he's waiting for his next bottle of wine. So if he thinks that this taste of wine is God, that's God consciousness. Because ultimately everything that people aspire for in life, the best of anything, is actually Krishna. And Krishna makes that point in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He shows himself as the best of everything within existence. So to remember Krishna, to keep our focus, attention on Krishna, is the essence. And what does it do? It nullifies the effects of time. Because what we're doing is we're creating our next life in this present. As we perform our activities, as we desire, and then we have activities based on the desire, we're creating a consciousness based on the results of the activity along with the activity. And that consciousness, when it's directed to Krishna, then your spiritual consciousness is directed. And when it's time to leave this body, it's like going to sleep at night and waking up in the spiritual world. There's no what we say, difficulty leaving the world. It's just as natural as moving from one room in the house to the other. That is for one who is absorbed in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, which is, as we mentioned, the essence of these living entities' happiness and devotional service. And Krishna comes in so many forms of himself, even if it's not Krishna. We have the pastimes of Sri Ram in Ayodhya as his adventures, as he performs his activities in this material world to teach values, to teach righteousness, to teach spirituality through his own example, and to rid the world of evil. So if we hear these pastimes, if we start to absorb ourselves and trying to understand what are the meaning of the Lord's activities, we enter into a new realm of existence. And then this other realm that we have to deal with every day is still here, but it fades in its effect upon us. In other words, just like when you're walking on the street, do you notice everything that's surrounding you? You don't notice everything. You notice something, but everything else is there. Even though you don't notice everything, you notice something. So in the same way, when we get absorbed in Krishna, whatever is going around us doesn't become so much of a difficulty. It just happens. It's happening around us. And we are on a different realm. Consciousness is reality. Where you, just like now, to use an example, if you're listening to what I'm saying, you're here. But if you're thinking, what did Nina create for Prashadam later tonight? I just can't wait. And Maharaj usually gives long lectures, and it's going to be a hard night. But anyway, if she has good Prashadam, it's worth waiting. So, but the thing is, in other words, we're projecting the future, although it hasn't happened yet. Or we're going back in time. We're thinking, oh yeah, yesterday it was a difficult day. Oh, boy, I'm glad it's today. And then we ruminate over what happened yesterday, and we just think, let me forget about it, but we can't. So moving your consciousness to different example areas is where you are. You are where you're thinking. Where are you? So you say, just like it says, there's a king, he's sitting on the throne, and there's a flea that's sitting on the king. Well, what's the connection between the flea and the king? No, there's no connection at all. Although by physical proximity, they're very close together. So you can be in one place, but not be there at the same time. So we're there with our consciousness. Therefore, we can project our consciousness into the spiritual realm by bringing the activities of Krishna into our hearts, into our minds. And then we're no longer part of this material world. And Krishna is all attractive. And when Krishna sees, oh, this person is interested in me, then he helps. It's not that you make all of the effort and then everything is dependent on you. When he sees, oh, they're interested in hearing about me, let me help them. Let me give them some intelligence by which they can continue to do that. He becomes inspired. Yayata mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajami aham mama vartmanu vartante manusya partha sarvasyaham. Very important verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, you approach me one way, you get what you approach. You look into the mirror and you see what's been presented in front of the mirror. It's called a reflection. So Krishna will reciprocate. But when he sees that you're interested in him, he goes out of his way to encourage you in the same direction. He helps you. And then it becomes more natural. Then it's no longer, let's do this. It's something I want to do. I want to hear more about Krishna because Krishna is all attractive. For instance, in Vrindavan, Krishna's home is in the spiritual world. The place is called Vrindavan. It's the highest realm of spiritual attainment. So Krishna performs his activities with his intimate associates, his friends, who are his cowherd friends, his girlfriends were the gopis, his parents and all their elders. They're his seniors who sort of take care of him from the position of father or mother, and others who serve him. So when he's in the spiritual world, he performs activities. So one time, Krishna was there, and wherever there is a lot of spirituality, there's also attack by evil forces. You'll see that. Evil is attracted to spirituality to try to destroy it. So Krishna was there. When Krishna was there, demons used to come into Vrindavan and try to kill Krishna. But nobody can kill Krishna because he's God. He doesn't die. But still, these demons were coming one after another. And Krishna was dispatching them to the abode of Yamaraj, one after another. And he's having fun. He smiles when he does it. And the demons get liberation, and they're in a better position, and they stop their demonic activities. So he benefits them by killing them. He's very merciful, according to Yayatam. As you approach him, he rewards you. So he rewards the demons by killing them and giving them a better position in either liberation or a chance to come back again in a devotional family. So Krishna was there, and Krishna killed this big demon, really big demon. And all his friends were around him. And he said, "Hey, Krishna, how'd you do that? That demon was so big. And yesterday I beat you in wrestling, but I couldn't kill that demon." So Krishna's not saying anything. He's quiet. So they're guessing. And another boy said, "Yeah, yesterday I took your lunch pail and you were crying." And so they're all saying different things about Krishna. But then they're all amazed how he killed this big demon. And then they start guessing. It's his mother. She gives him the power. When he leaves his house in the morning, she gives him a demon-killing mantra. And he chants that mantra, and therefore he gets that power. Another boy says, "Yeah, maybe it's like that. But I don't think..." Yeah, she gives him a mantra, but she puts it on his arms and legs and his armlets and on his body, and then he carries it with him. And these armlets and different decorations on his body is the power, and he gets his power from that. So they're all guessing. Krishna's completely quiet. And then Krishna says, "Hey, you want to know how I did it?" Yeah. They all get excited. So they gather around. Krishna's going to tell. Now they're all eager to hear. So Krishna says, "Well, when I was born, my father was visited by a great sage, and he had a very private meeting with my father, and he was talking about me. He said, 'This boy who's your son, he is very special. He is as good as Narayan, Lord Narayan. In fact, he is Lord Narayan. So if you want to know how I did it, I'm God.'" And they looked at him like, now he thinks he's God. What's next? And they all start laughing. And Krishna starts laughing, and they're all laughing. And then they said, "All right, let's go play." So in the spiritual world, they don't see Krishna as God. They see him as the lovable boy of Vrindavan, who is attracted by everyone, who attracts everyone. That's Krishna. So these pastimes of the Lord are so sweet because they take us deeper into the nature of the Supreme Lord, and they awaken our attraction for Krishna. And the more you get attraction for Krishna, the more you lose the attraction for the ephemeral, mundane things of this world, which have no real value in our life. They just come and go because they are part of the material energy. But what is valuable is the heart. When the heart is happy, then you're happy. When that heart is feeling attraction for Krishna, then there is affection that arises from that attraction. And when that affection becomes stronger, it turns into love. And when love is there, then you have reached perfection. But that love is there. It's not something foreign. We have natural love for Krishna. Nityasiddha Krishna Prema Saru Kabunoi Sravanadi Siddhi Chitte Koriye Udoi. In the hearts of all living entities, not just humans, but anything that is alive is spiritual. In that spiritual being, even in the body of an ant or an elephant, there is love for Krishna there. But because the bodies cannot bring it out, therefore, when one achieves the human form of life, it is very valuable. Extremely valuable. And to waste the human form of life simply to try to become successful in this material world is actually something that is very pitiable. It's like if you have $1 million, but you can't find any of it. You say, "Well, I'm a millionaire. Where's your money?" "I don't know." So it's like not having it. If you can't use it or if you can't find it, what's the use of claiming to be a millionaire when you have no access to it? So the same way, we are in the best position to make a solution to all problems of life and awaken that love that we're looking for in this material world, but actually it exists in our relationship with Krishna. That's where love is. And when you love Krishna, when you actually experience love for Krishna, that love branches out and it goes to every living entity. So there's a natural love towards every living entity because that love is there in Krishna. And everyone is connected with Krishna. No one is separate from Krishna. Therefore, every living entity has love for Krishna. And when we love Krishna, we love each other. What is that love? That means you work for the welfare of others. You're always thinking how to help others. Whatever is needed to help that person move forward in their life, in their relationship with Krishna, becomes the focus of the living entity's consciousness. But it all starts with hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, as this verse says. Prabhupada was talking. He was giving an example that there is, they have made these trees out of plastic. Maybe you heard of it, plastic trees. They're not real trees, but they're made out of plastic. So it looks like a tree, but it can't act like a tree because it's plastic, obviously. So this body we have, Prabhupada said, it's like plastic. You got a plastic body. So what is the use of a plastic body? It doesn't do any good because it's plastic. So we know the actual material is not plastic. But what is the value of this body when it's used in the service of the Lord? You go shopping, you buy something, and then you realize you don't really want it or need it. But on the label it says, no refund. So we come into this material world and we get a body and you're stuck with it. But so you can't turn it in, but you can use it in the best possible way. And so the scriptures say the best use of a bargain is to use it in the service of the Lord. And then it becomes valuable. Actually has value. As it says in the scriptures, anything used in the service of the Lord takes on the quality of spirit. There is no such thing as material. Material means something that is cut off. But when you connect something to the source, then it's no longer cut off. Just like if you have a hand that's cut off, it's useless. Nobody cares about it. But when it's attached to the body, it has great use. So when we're connected with Krishna in devotional service, we have value. Everything about our life has value. But when we're cut off from Krishna, then whatever we do really just brings us more and more suffering and misery ultimately. So here's the formula. Chant the glories of the Lord. And of course, the essence of chanting the glories of the Lord is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Yeah, this is, what is that verse? Kali Kale, Namarupa, Krishna Avatar. And Krishna has appeared in the sound of his name. His name is him. To figure that out intellectually, logically, is not possible. It's an experience. You can only understand Krishna's name to be Krishna when you experience both the happiness and the knowledge that comes by chanting Krishna's name. Sometimes people say, well, what do you get out of chanting? We get chanting out of chanting. The more we chant, the more we chant. We like to chant. Why? Because chanting connects us directly with Krishna. It's the fast track. There's a lot of other things that are not as fast, such as doing various types of pujas and worshiping homas, austerities, chanting other mantras for material benefit. These are not as fast. But the fast track is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Hare. So we're chanting the name of Rama, but actually for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Rama means Radhika Raman, which is also Krishna. So the whole mantra actually for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we are followers of Lord Chaitanya, the whole mantra is actually names of Radha and Krishna, that's all. So by chanting the holy names, that inspires us to read the books, to hear more of Krishna's pastimes, and get inspired more and more about the nature of this Lord. The more you know about Krishna, the more your natural attraction for Krishna will awaken. Just like when you know about someone, you become attracted to them. Prabhupada would use the opposite example for description. Oh, you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. What's their name? I don't know. Where do they live? I don't know. What do they look like? I don't know. Well, what is your relationship? Well, we have a relationship. Where is it? I don't know. So, knowledge, the relationships are based on knowledge of the object of that relationship. We get attracted when we actually learn about someone or something. So the more we learn about Krishna, and it comes by glorifying Krishna, hearing about the qualities of Krishna, reading about Krishna's relationship with this material world, how he relates to the devotees, what is his relationship between his eternal associates in the spiritual world, why he does what he does. If you ask someone about God, and you ask another person about, you ask different people about God, they give you a different, everybody goes give you a different opinion, because nobody really knows. They speculate. They see things, or they conclude things based on their own limited experiences, and they place some definition or some characteristic upon God. But it's not like that. When you hear from the Shastras, from Krishna himself, from his pure devotees, then you get the knowledge directly. Krishna is like this. And then there's no doubt. But one of the qualities of Krishna that is the most outstanding, which really charms the hearts of his devotees, is he's kind. He's very kind. Why? What is that kindness? He sees our best interests as his interest. He wants to make us happy. He wants to give us the happiness we're looking for. And he knows that the only way we can find that is in our relationship with him. That's his kindness. You might say, well, he's a little proud. No, he just knows the truth, that's all. He knows that outside of our relationship with him, we cannot find any kind of permanence or any kind of happiness. Everything else is temporary and ultimately mixed with a combination of some satisfaction, but mostly dissatisfaction. What is the dissatisfaction? It leaves after a certain time. And many times it fails not to give us the satisfaction we're looking for. But everything can be found in Krishna. So Krishna consciousness is natural. Why is it natural? Because it's our nature. What is that verse? I just said it. Nityasiddha Krishna Premaka. All living entities have an eternal relationship with Krishna. No matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what body you're in, that relationship exists. But in the human form of life, you can realize it. Only in the human form of life can you realize it. And therefore, we should consider that, I'm in the best position to make a solution to all my problems in life. What is that problem? We have to take birth. We have to go through the sufferings of coming into this material world. We're trying to squeeze out a little happiness in all of the activities in this material world, but they're so fleeting and so temporary that no one is finding any satisfaction in these things. Your money cannot save you, nor can whatever you have accumulated in this world. Only Krishna can save you. Krishna can save you from all of your suffering. At the same time, he can give you what you're looking for. And that is the happiness of having that relationship with him again revived through the process of pure devotional service. As it says in this verse, the rising and the setting. That was confirmation. Both the rising and the setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. So, this is the formula. Hear and chant the glories of the Lord as much as you can, and rise above the sufferings of this material world. And actually realize yourself as an eternal being, not something who comes and goes. We don't come and go. We come in one place and go to another place, but we exist eternally. Life is eternal. Okay, so thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions or comments? Corrections? Okay. Gopal Hari.
Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare. Maharaj, I was wondering if you could expand more on the kindness of Krishna and
Yeah.
how we can feel that more in our day-to-day lives.
Well, when Krishna wants something done, sometimes he asks his devotee, and he appears either in dreams or through other mediums to inform the devotee what he wants done. Say he wants a temple built, or he wants his temple repaired, or he wants his name and fame to be, what we say, spread, to inform the devotee temple built, repaired, and fame to be, inspire his devotee to do the work, and he'll make the arrangements for the devotee to carry out the activity, and he gives the credit to the devotee. Srila Prabhupada was here many years ago, and devotees were asking Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya, he's Krishna himself, and he traveled all through India. He went down, all the way down to Cape Comorin from Jagannath Puri and came back up the other side. And he traveled for 6 years, spreading the Harinam Sankirtan all over India. He practically made the whole subcontinent of India Krishna consciousness when he was there. So many of Prabhupada's disciples were with Prabhupada, and they asked him a question. Well, if Lord Chaitanya is God, and he made India Krishna conscious, why didn't he take it around the world? And Prabhupada said, he left it for me to do. He wants to give credit to his devotee. So he can do anything. Krishna can do anything, but he wants us to get the credit. So because if we get a chance to serve him, that'll purify us and qualify us for us to go back to Godhead. So he empowers his devotees to do things on his behalf, and the devotee gets the credit. That's his kindness. Yeah. Or he'll appear in a dream and he'll say, fix my temple. So the devotee will gather all of the information needed and work hard and fix the temple. And Krishna will give him the intelligence, as he says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasyataham riddhisani visto matat smirti agyanam apohanam cha. I give you knowledge, I give you remembrance, and if you want to forget me, I help you. He fulfills your desire. So he inspires the devotee to work in a certain way, and the devotee moves in that direction, and Krishna gives him the intelligence how to do it through various means. And he also many times supplies the ingredients. The devotee does something, everyone says, wow, you did wonderful service. And Krishna stays in the background. Nobody gives credit to Krishna, they give credit to the devotee, and Krishna's happy, because he wants his devotees to get the credit. But he's doing everything behind the scenes. Example, it's in the Bhagavatam. Krishna was in Dwarka, and this was right after the battle of Kurukshetra. So Yudhisthira was now about to take the throne as the king of the world after the battle. Kurus were defeated, the Pandavas were in power now, but they had to do the Rajasuya sacrifice before they could consummate his rule, his position as the new ruler of the world. So they had to raise a lot of money, and the treasury was depleted because of the battle. So they were discussing, and there was a big meeting of all the leaders, and Yudhisthira was there and Krishna was there. And they were discussing how to go forward in this Rajasuya sacrifice. So while the meeting was going on, a messenger came to the door. And the messenger was really quite emotional. He said, I have a message for Krishna. I have to deliver this message. It's an emergency. So the person at the door who was greeting people, he informed Krishna, there's a messenger here. He has a very urgent message. Can he read it? So Krishna stopped the meeting and he said, yes. So the person said, actually, I'm coming on behalf of the kings who've been imprisoned by Jarasandha. Jarasandha is going to perform a human sacrifice and sacrifice the lives of all these kings in some yajna. They're desperate. They want you to save them. Please save them. And there were thousands of kings that were... Jarasandha was a powerful, powerful demon. And so then the question came, should we move away from the business of the Rajasuya sacrifice and deal with Jarasandha? Or should we go on with our plan? So they had to figure out what to do. So Krishna knows everything. He knows what to do. So he turns to Uddhava and he says, Uddhava, what should we do? Now Uddhava is Krishna's cousin. Krishna's father is Vasudeva, and Vasudeva has many brothers, and one of the brothers was the father of Uddhava. So Krishna and Uddhava were cousins. And Krishna and Uddhava was a very dear devotee of Krishna, very dear. So he said to Uddhava, what is the plan? And Uddhava said, well, actually, as long as Jarasandha is still alive, we cannot fulfill the duties of the Rajasuya sacrifice. It won't work. We have to eliminate Jarasandha, and then we can go on with the Rajasuya sacrifice. Everyone said, Uddhava, that was brilliant. And they all gave credit to Uddhava. But Krishna knew the answer. But he just went to Uddhava to show that my devotee, he knows. So he wanted to glorify Uddhava, and Uddhava got all of the credit. So Krishna does that. He empowers his devotees to do something, and the devotee gets the credit, but the empowerment comes from Krishna. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Rasoham apsakuntaya prabhasmi sasi suryaya pranava sarvavedeshu sabdike purusham neshu. Sabdike purusham neshu means I am the ability in all living beings. So if we're taking credit for what we're doing, we're actually pushing Krishna out. He's given you, even on the material level, he gives you the intelligence to do whatever you have to do. If you want to forget something, he'll help you to forget. And even if you think you know how to do something, and if you forget how to do it, you can't do anything unless Krishna reminds you. I even forgot my name one time. Haribol. And I was thinking, what happened? Then I realized Krishna was playing some games with me. I don't know. And when they asked me my name, I gave some other name. This is a true story. I guess you might say I wasn't intoxicated, so. And so I think Krishna wanted to teach me a certain philosophical point that if I can make you forget who you are, what you are, why you are, where you are, Krishna can do anything. He can make you, the glorious person in the world. He can make you the stupidest person in the world. He's empowered to do that. He works through the intelligence. He works through the material energy. He controls everything completely. But for his devotee, he always wants to glorify his devotee. So that's his kindness. He'll allow the devotee to do something on his behalf. Krishna will do everything to make sure that devotee is successful and the devotee gets the credit. The father gives the money to the son. The son goes out and buys a present for the father. And the father says, oh, you're so nice. You're such a wonderful son. Well, where did the money come from? From the father. So that's Krishna. That's Krishna. He likes to make his devotee look good. And so he gives the intelligence, the facilities, whatever we need, if we take shelter of him. So how do we take shelter? Just simply by remembering Krishna and being grateful for the opportunity to serve Krishna. To have the opportunity to serve the Lord, we might think it's just we can serve or not serve. Yeah, that's true. But actually, to have the opportunity is rare. It's really rare. And even to use the opportunity is even rarer. Many people have that opportunity but fail to take advantage of it. So when we serve the Lord, and here is the essence of the serving, glorify the Lord. Lord Chaitanya was traveling through South India, and he came to a place called Kumbhakshetra. And there was a Brahmana, and the Brahmana said to the Lord, he said, "My dear Lord, please stay at my house while you're here in Kumbhakshetra." The Lord understood it. He was a very qualified and very devoted Brahmana, along with his family. He stayed there for 4 days. The family served the Lord so nicely. All the members of the family, they were taking care of all of his needs and serving him so nicely, cooking so much prasadam, giving him masad. Everything was nice. The Lord was very pleased with their service. But then after 4 days, the Lord had to go on. So he left. And while he was leaving, the Brahmana was following him. And the Lord looked back and said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going with you." He got so attracted to the Lord, he didn't want to leave his associate. He said, "You have your family. You can't come." And basically, he rejected that idea. But the Lord said, "No, you go back." He said, "You have your family. You can't come." And basically, he rejected that idea. But the Lord said, "No, you go back." About Krishna. Whoever you meet, teach him to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He said, "By my command, be Guru, save the land." He said, "If you do that, you'll never lose my association." So to associate with the Lord means to carry out the will of the Lord. That is actually real association. So that was an example that for all of us, that we can always be connected to the Lord as we're following the instructions given by him through his representative, the spiritual master. Which really, the essence of that instruction is, take whatever you know in Krishna consciousness and share it with others. Get more. The more you get, the more you can share. Tell everybody about Krishna. Tell them, people say, "Well, I have this problem. This problem." People like to talk about their problems, right? Because it makes them feel good. Because nobody wants to listen, but if they find somebody, then they feel they feel good. So we say, "Well, yeah, all right. Since you're telling me your problems, I also have a solution. Chant Hare Krishna." If you chant this mantra. I used to travel with my assistant, and he was a wonderful brahmachari. And we would go, and he was very affable. You know what the word affable means? Very friendly, open. He could talk to anybody at any time, and that person would never feel imposed upon. It didn't matter. He could just speak to anybody, and they would feel comfortable with him. So we would go to the airports, and he would see the person who was checking in for the flight, and he'd say, "Are you stressed out?" And the guy said, "Yeah, it's really a stress." He said, "We have something for you." And then he gave him a little card with an app on it. And on the app, you could connect to the Hare Krishna mantra through the app. And then he said, "Well, thank you very much." I never saw anybody feel uncomfortable for whatever he said. And he would just talk to people like he knew them. He had that, what we say, quality about him. He would be, so you might call it friendliness, but really he was ego. He didn't have any ego. He was free from false ego. And so he could always, Krishna, he's like that. He has a relationship with each and every one. Each and every one of us have a personal relationship with Krishna, which is unique. No two people have the exact same relationship with Krishna. Just like no two people have the same voice sound. Everyone has their own voice sound, which is close but not the same. There's no two snowflakes in existence of the same shape. There's no two leaves on any tree that is exactly the same. So even in the variety of the material world, there is such variety. So in the spiritual world too, each and every one has a special relationship with Krishna. And Krishna wants to taste that. He's eager for love. So he wants to bring us back to having a loving exchange with each and every one of us. That's Krishna. Because he knows this is the only thing that will satisfy us. Your money and whatever else you achieve in this world can never give you the satisfaction. Can give you some temporary feeling of happiness or security, but it's temporary, and ultimately it'll leave in a certain point of time. But what remains with us is Krishna. He's there always. And the more we hear about him, the more we can experience his presence, simply by remembering him. So this is the nicest way to remember him. Talk about his, his pastimes, his qualities, like that. I think some of you are wondering, it's getting a little late. So any other questions? Yes, okay. Am I taking too long? You sure?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. You mentioned about when there is a spiritual Krishna and how the evil demons are distracting in Vrindavan while he was performing the pastimes.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, if there is an evil forces for a devotee of Krishna.
Well, the Bhagavad Gita says there's two kinds of living beings, Sura and Asura. So demons are real people. They're real living entities who have taken a very horrible body, and their business is to give trouble to others. That's all. That's their main business. That's called a demon. So these living beings have their own planets around the earth. There are planets above the earth, and there's planets below the earth. And these planets below the earth are inhabited by these lower living entities, which we call them demons, ghosts, various types of evil spirits. And sometimes they take birth on this planet also and become politicians. Hare Krishna. You can cross that out of the recording. Yeah. They're always, I can tell you how they work. They always they always come and think about how to get all your money, right? This tax, that tax, this fee, that fee, pay this, don't go anywhere without giving us money. So there are living beings who take the position of harassing others. That's their happiness. They get joy in causing misery to others. That's called a demon. These people exist. They're living beings. They're born into that consciousness. They're lower living beings. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that there's two kinds of beings, godly and ungodly. So Krishna kills the ungodly and purifies them from their evil ways and gives them a chance to become godly. If he doesn't kill them directly, he kills them through the material energy. Is that okay? Yeah, so don't be surprised when everything goes wrong in this world, because it's all due to the demons. People by nature are good. Living beings by nature are good, but there are a class of people who have this nature to cause trouble to others. They're born with it. And sometimes some people adopt it also. The Bhagavatam clearly explains that when the mode of goodness is prominent, the demigods are in control. When the mode of passion is prominent, the demons are in control. And when the mode of ignorance is prominent, the yakshas and rakshasas are in control. So right now we can see that the modes are very low. People are struggling simply to live in this world now. It's difficult because there is a class of people who are causing so many. Prabhupada said, we have no problem with Maya. Maya is our friend. She offers her respects to the devotee, but because there's demons, she has to serve the demons. Therefore, all the trouble in the world is caused by this class of people called demons. They might be dressed in nice suit and tie and look very good, but their consciousness is selfishness and exploitation. That's all. They get happiness from exploiting others. They want to become Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. But they can't become Brahma. But they try to become Vishnu and Shiva. Vishnu is the maintainer and the Shiva is the destroyer. So if you don't follow their process, they destroy you. But we can take shelter of Krishna and get protected. Prabhupada spoke 1972. He said the demons are increasing. He's referring to this earth planet, and they'll continue to increase more and more. They'll give you trouble. But don't worry, chant Hare Krishna, and you'll never be affected by their activities. The holy name will protect you from all of the influence of these demoniac personalities. And Prabhupada gave the example when Prahlad Maharaj was being harassed by his father. His father tried to kill him in so many ways, but he couldn't do anything because he took shelter of Krishna. Devaki, when she was in the jail cell, Kamsa was harassing her, but still Krishna protected her because she took shelter of Krishna. So when you take shelter of Krishna, that means if you remember Krishna, you pray to Krishna, you're free from the influence of the material energy. Nothing can touch you. That's a fact. And when you have that faith, then you know Krishna is my only protection. Lord Chaitanya, he exhibited that himself. What is that? I can tell you a story. You want to hear a story? Is it too late? Nobody's saying anything. Hare Krishna story. This was in you remember the Bangladesh war in 1972, 71, 72. Maybe some of you were in India at that time. Prabhupada was in India at that time, and he sent 2 sannyasis to Bangladesh to preach during that time. Pushta Krishna Maharaj and Gargamuni Swami and Brahmananda Swami, 2 brothers. When they were there, it was difficult because the war was going on, and Hindus in that area were under threat. But they were preaching to the Hindu population during that time. Prabhupada, after some time, got worried and started sending letters to ask to bring him back. But because the war was going on, the letters weren't going through. So, at one point, the Islamic army said, anyone who wants to leave the country, we have buses, you can leave, and you can leave the country. So they had arranged buses for people who wanted to leave, which would mean people who were not in favor of the Islamic rule at the time. So these 2 sannyasis were preaching, and people were saying, "Is sannyasi getting dangerous? You better leave." So they got on the bus and they were leaving, but the buses were being stopped by the border, and the Islamic army were checking who's leaving. And they saw these 2 sannyasis on the bus. They took them off, and they put them in front of a firing squad. They were about to shoot them. And so they're there, and then Brahmananda's there, and all of a sudden he gets excited. He has his beads. He holds it up in the air, and he starts chanting really loudly. And he says to his friend Gargamuni, which is his brother, "Hey, we're going back to Godhead." And he's chanting like this. And the whole Islamic army got bewildered. the head of the army came up and said, "Get on the bus and get out of here." It's a true story, yeah. Krishna saved them because they were chanting Hare Krishna. And they were fearless. Of course, they took the real reason is that they just took shelter of the chanting of the holy name. So many examples of one of those. As soon as you take shelter of Krishna's holy name, everything changes. Rake Krishna, More Ke. More Krishna, Rake Ke. If Krishna wants to protect you, there's no force in existence that can even move a hair on your body. If Krishna takes away his protection, there's nothing you can do to save yourself. It's like that. If we have that faith, and that faith is not simply blind faith, it's faith coming from Scripture, from Krishna, from Guru. If we have that faith, then we can live happily in Krishna consciousness. But we have to take shelter of Krishna. Not like, the parrot, he's learning to chant Hare Krishna, and he's chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then when death comes along, death. No. Devotees remember Krishna in goodness, good times, and in difficult times. Not just difficult times. It's easy to remember Krishna in difficult times because that's what we do, right? But in good times, when things are going good, then you're thanking Krishna for all of his kindness, his mercy upon you. And you're remembering him. And here, as it says, if we glorify his name, his activities, then we can free ourselves from the influence of material energy. It's a fact. If you study the life of Srila Prabhupada, you'll see how he lived free from the influence of this material energy. It was like watching an amazing movie, Prabhupada's life. 70 years old, traveling around the world, opening up temples, writing books, preaching Krishna consciousness to people. Nobody could even come close to doing that, especially at that age. Prabhupada was highly empowered by Krishna. So Krishna's empowerment is all in proportion. The more you surrender to Krishna, the more you become empowered by Krishna. That surrender is the process of using our time in devotional service under the guidance of our spiritual master. But at any time, we can always remember Krishna. Prabhupada said, you have to think of something. Think of Krishna. Will I get my work done? You'll get it done better. That's a fact. And think, well, if I remember Krishna, how will I go on with my ordinary activities? They'll get better. They'll get better. Automatically. Okay, so thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Chandra Maharaj ji.